Friends and viewer, good day. Another beautiful and interesting story. The talking fish. Once upon a time, a worker who was very poor found some work as a fisherman's helper. He was paid a few fish a day, and this kept him and his wife alive. One day, the worker caught a fish and he turned it over in his hand. He thought, "What a marvelous fish this is." Suddenly, the fish spoke to him in a human voice. "See here, brother, just a moment ago, I was playing with my friend and I got caught in your net. Now here I'm in your hand, suffering and probably dying. My parents and my playmate must be searching for me and worrying terribly about me." Now the fish was gasping, "Please have pity on me. Throw me back into the water." The worker gazed at the marvelous talking fish. Could it be true? Was it possible that a fish lives a life filled with joys and sorrows also? He quickly threw the fish back into the water. "All right, my pretty little fish, go along and play again. I don't want your parents and friends to worry anymore about you." When the worker's boss, the fisherman, saw this, he became very angry. "You fool," he yelled to the worker. "I hired you to catch fish, not to throw them back into the water. You're a worthless fool. Be gone with you. I'd never want to see you again." And the poor worker walked sadly home. "What shall I tell my wife?" he wailed, dreading what would happen to me without this job. He was talking along the road, plunged into his unhappy thought, when suddenly he saw a monster in a human shape. The monster was driving a very fine cow before him. "Good day, brother," said the monster. "Why do you seem so sad?" The worker told him his story. "See here, my friend," said the monster, "I'm going to do you a favor. Do you see this cow? I'll let you keep here for 3 years. She'll give you plenty of good milk every day, and you and your wife will never go hungry. But listen carefully to this condition. When 3 years have passed, I will come and ask certain questions you. If you answer them correctly, the cow will be yours. However, if you don't, then I'll take both of you and do whatever I want with you. So do you accept?" The worker thought, "I suppose it's better to take the cow now go than to go hungry. At least I'll be able to sell the milk and live for 3 years, and then let's see what happens. Maybe I'll be lucky enough to answer those questions." So he accepted the term, took the cow, and went home relieved and happy. Indeed, the cow gave plenty of good milk, enough for the worker and his wife to drink and to sell, and in this way provided the necessities of life. In the evening, the worker and his wife would often sit together at their door thinking about the monster. They tried to imagine what the answer might be. But as they had no clue what sort of question the monster would ask, they would always end their session with a sigh and go to bed with troubled hearts. Day by day, the end of the 3 years grew closer and closer. One evening, a handsome youth came up to them. "Good evening," he said. "I'm so tired and it is getting dark. If you please, may I spend the night under your roof?" Then what happened that while they were talking, one evening. Of course you may. Only thought you must know that something terrible is going to happen to us. 3 years ago we took a cow from a monster. And he told us we could keep the cow for 3 years, but at the end of that time, he could come and ask us some question. If we answer those questions correctly, then the cow will be ours forever. If we can't, then we will become the monster's prisoners forever. So if you stay with us tonight, be careful that no harm comes to you. I see, said the youth. Well, if it is all right with you, I would certainly like to stay the night. As so he did. Exactly at midnight, the loud knock was heard at the door. Who is there? Who is there? It is I, the monster. 3 years have passed. The time has come to answer my question. You will never be able to answer them, wailed the poor worker and his wife, clutching at each other's shoulders. Suddenly the youth stepped towards the door. He said to them, "Don't worry, I'll answer for you. I'm here waiting," growled the monster outside. "And I am here also," calmly answered the youth behind the door. "Very well then," said the monster. "Where are you from?" "I am from the other side of the sea." "How did you get here?" "Riding a lame flea." "Then the sea must have been very small." "Not at all. Even an eagle couldn't fly across it. Then that eagle must have been a fledgling." "Not at all. The shadow of his wings would cover a whole city. Then the city must have been very small." "Not at all." Then another, "I hear a hare couldn't run from one end of it to the other." The monster was speechless. It didn't know what other question to ask. He stood there silently at the door for some time. Then the poor worker and his wife were overjoyed then, and the youth celebrated until dawn. When the dawn was breaking, the youth said it was time for him to take his leave. "Oh no, we can't allow you to go," cried the couple. "You saved our life. Tell us, what can we do to thank you?" "You don't have to thank me," replied the youth. "I must be on my way. At worker, least all tell us who you are," begged the worker. Then what happened? If you ask, if you must know, said the youth, "a kindness is never lost, even if into the water I am that little talking fish that you throw me into the sea." Having said these words, he vanished from him. So that youth was that little beautiful fish which this worker had saved and thrown it back to the sea. Thank you very much for the kind listening. I hope you will enjoy it.